Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter.
Ayushmann, good to see you. Ayushmann, you're wearing a hat, which means either you've had a haircut or you've not had a haircut, right? Since the last time we spoke.
No haircut since the lockdown. In fact, I was growing my hair for Anubhav Sinha's next film, and it is working. It's just that they've become little. I can't tame them. That's the problem.
Right.
So there's no hair and makeup. So that's why I'm wearing this hat.
This is the first time, right? Doing promotions and without hair and makeup.
Of course. Otherwise, we have the whole paraphernalia around us. This is like you doing your own things, fixing your camera.
Ayushmann, you have a new film coming out next Friday. You have Gulabo Sitabo coming out. I want to ask you, does it feel different this time around? You had 3 films come out last year. You had Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan come out in February. But this time, does it feel a little bit different? Because the film, of course, is not going to the cinemas. It's going to drop straight on streaming, on Amazon Prime Video. Does it feel a little bit different?
Very different. If I keep my hand on my heart, I'll say I would have preferred a theatrical release because it's been a while. All of us have come together, and community viewing is a thing in our country. Celebrate cinema, and I come from that school of thought. And also, I'm that guy from Chandigarh who's got tickets and watched my film on the big screen. It gives you a different high, and that too with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, the megastar. Watching myself on the big screen with him was a dream. But since the situation is like this, so it was producer's call. I know everything is so different. Like now we're promoting the film via this Zoom call. That's so different, and it's so unprecedented, as we said in the last interview.
When this decision was taken to go straight to streaming, did you have a say in it? Did you, did you have an opinion on it?
I'm not the producer of the film, so I had no say in it. Absolutely not. It's just that keeping the coronavirus situation in mind, they had to take this decision. But would have been great if it was theatrical. Is
a little part of you sad? Because this is, of course, a film that, like you said, it's made for the theater. You make films for a community experience. Is a little part of you sad?
Of course I am. Of course I am. But we have to be a little malleable when it comes to consumption and everything. I'm sure they have thought about something while taking this decision. But yeah, I would love to be that guy who brings all the families and the communities to watch the people watch the films in theaters, and that would have been great.
Ayushmann, there are other films. There are films like Suryavanshi, there are films like 83, which were also complete. And not once in this last 2.5 months has there been any conversation or even speculation about whether those films will go straight to streaming. The conversation is that those films will wait for the theaters to reopen. Of course, those are bigger films in terms of scale, in terms of budgets. Those are event films. But also, let's consider that you're the actor who in the last few years has delivered the best return of investment. Ranveer Singh jokes, he calls you ROI, right? You're the guy whose films, gross most when compared to the budget, to what it took to make them. In that scenario, is there a part of you that then yearns to make the kind of film that has to release only on the cinema? Does a part of you want to make the Suryavanshis and the 83s and the kind of films that where there is no conversation about them going straight to streaming?
I cannot be untrue to my core.
Yeah,
my core is slice of life, realistic cinema, which resonates with me. The cinema that I really want to watch, I do that cinema. And I don't think like that I have to do like a film which is made in a particular budget. I'm not wired like that. I'll do whatever suits my core, and whatever I like to do, I just go for it. I don't apply those mathematics in my head. It's just a pure decision coming from my heart. It's a purest viewpoint when I read a script or take a narration. And it could be anything. It could be like a 50 crore budget film, or could be like a 25 crore budget film. Doesn't matter. It should just resonate with me, with the artist in me.
Is there less pressure though when a film is coming out straight on streaming? There is no pressure of that box office, that pressure of delivering certain numbers on the first day, delivering, a big opening weekend. Is that pressure off? Do you feel less pressure this time around?
I never felt the pressure to begin with. The kind of films that I do, they don't exceed a certain budget. It's always a safe bet to do these films. So, but I don't keep that pressure. Like even with Article 15, for example, I was mentally prepared that it'll do a certain amount, but of course surpassed our expectations. Same
Yeah.
went with Andhadhun. Uh, and at the same time, I was doubly confident about a certain like a film like Bala or a Dream Girl, which was like funny and stuff
Mm.
like that. But with off track films like Andhadhun, Article 15, I don't have that expectation. So, but yeah, in a conventional way, yes. When it comes to OTT, there is no rule that how will you gauge the commercial prowess of a film. That
Right.
pressure may go in for a lot of actors, but I generally don't keep that pressure.
Let's now talk about Gulabo Sitabo. Now, this is a film, of course, that reunites you with your Vicky donor director, Shrujit Sarkar. Um,
Mhm.
this is the story, from what I've read, of a landlord that Mr. Bachchan plays, Mirza. And you play Banke, who is his tenant, who refuses to pay the rent, who refuses to vacate the apartment. You're the thorn in his side, so to speak. Now, Shujit said that the basic idea of this film and this story came from a traditional puppet show from Uttar Pradesh, which is about these two women, one
Yeah.
older, one younger, who are constantly sort of bickering and constantly exchanging barbs. Were you familiar with this puppet show?
I was not. To begin with, I have heard a lot of different pronunciations of my name in the film. It's
Okay,
actually Banke. Banke.
Banke. Okay, okay,
Yeah, like Banke Bihari.
you're right.
Banke. That's a lot of people say Bunky or Banky. It's
Correct.
Banke Rastogi in the film, and
Okay,
he's the tenant. He's hand to mouth, and even Mirza is hand to mouth. So
right.
both of us, but he has a haveli, and
Correct.
I'm the tenant, and we are always at loggerheads. And this puppet show, Gulabo Sitabo, I'd never heard about it. It's a folklore. It's part of that Lucknowi culture, especially old
Right.
Lucknow. So I was not aware about it. So Juhi is from Lucknow. So she came up with this story and she knows about this. And I found it really fascinating. That world was beautiful. It was very charming. The film is, there's a lot of tehrav in the film.
Right.
You invest with the characters, their, uh, their problems, issues of daily lives. It's beautiful. So I was really fascinated by this world. And, and it's a dream come true to just reunite with Dada, Shujit Sarkar, Juhi Chaturvedi, and of course,
Mhm.
Mr. Bachchan.
To sort of carry forward what you said, Shujit said that another one of the, this idea came about from his discussions with Juhi about how those that live a hand-to-mouth existence, how they deal with life. So for you, and in this case, apparently it's both the characters, like you said. For you, what were the insights that you got about an impoverished class, or a class of people that are not very rich? I mean, what were the insights that this film gave you?
The basic insight is that your world revolves around money and food.
Hmm.
Like you and I, we don't think about, think before buying a particular food item,
Right.
or we don't think about what's going to happen next with lunch or dinner. हम क्या करेंगे क्या नहीं करेंगे. So it was a very basic need, which they think the need is a luxury. Having food, good food is a luxury for them.
Hmm.
But we've not shown that extreme dark side in the film. But I could see that in the lines, or way the characters behave. It revolves around food
Right.
mostly. Food and
Right.
basic necessity, washroom, food, and stuff like that. So
Correct.
it's very different.
Things that the rest of the world takes for granted,
Yes,
in a sense,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
Right. I remember you telling me some months ago when we spoke about how you were never overwhelmed or intimidated about working with Mr. Bachchan, because when you went to the set to shoot with him, you didn't see Mr. Bachchan. You saw
Yeah.
this man, and of course, the prosthetics and the makeup make him look nothing like Amitabh Bachchan. And you've said that he was looking like Mirza, and therefore there was never that moment of being overwhelmed. It was the first film you were doing with Mr. Bachchan, who you've of course grown up watching, but there wasn't that.
It seemed that the universe really worked for me in this particular film because every sort of intimidation from his side, it was subsided. One, because of his look, he looked so different.
Yeah.
And secondly, he has a hunch in the film, so he almost looks like my height. So at 6 feet 2, he has got a hunch. So he comes under 6 feet, so I'm fine. Okay, fine. You're
So you
not
were looking straight in his eyes, right?
Yes, now you're with me. So so I guess that worked for me. If he was like Bachchan of KBC,
Correct.
I would have got really intimidated. I
Right.
remember seeing him after pack up with my family. My family had visited Lucknow, and I saw him with a kurta and a shawl. And when my family entered his room, they were, "Aiye, Khurrana sahab, aiye, kaise hain aap?" Then I got intimidated. My God, he's the same guy. Oh my God, he's the same. He's the Amitabh Bachchan, and I'm shooting with him and throwing him galis on set, being a character. So it was such a dichotomy. So it was quite amazing.
Shujit said another interesting thing. He said that this is his first satire, and he said when you're making a satire, you need actors who can look foolish, and Amitabh Bachchan and Ayushmann Khurrana both can look foolish, and that's why they were perfect for this part. Now, I want to ask you, is that something you can understand? I mean, is when you're doing a comedy, when you're doing a satire, is there that need, that willingness to look foolish? I remember Juhi Chawla telling me years ago, she said the reason that she was able to do comedy was because she was able to put aside that vanity, that inhibition, and kind of go with it. You have to be prepared to look foolish. Does that make sense to you?
Of course, as an actor, you should be prepared for anything. We are not living in that time where you have to be like that sanitized hero who cannot look foolish. And I believe I have to be true to my craft more than anything else. I cannot take my whatever stardom very seriously. That I cannot look foolish. As I told you,
Right.
I'm most of the part of I'm foolish. Apart from, of course, Article 15, which is like straight jacketed role, or
Right.
even Andhadhun, I was goofy at times, But it's cool to be foolish. I think it just makes you real. And this film, yeah, we are a bunch of fools, by the way. In the film, we are greedy. Maybe not likable. We're just another guy. We're just like normal guys from Lucknow. Who any Lucknowite could relate to.
Amitabh Bachchan said that when he was making Piku in Calcutta, when he was shooting Piku, he went out, he got a cycle, and he went out in the streets, and he, took in the city. It's a city that he spent some of his formative years in, and he enjoyed kind of revisiting the city and kind of rediscovering it after all those years. Apparently, while making this film, he was in Lucknow, and Lucknow was not a city that he'd spent a lot of time in. And he said he did go out, but never alone. Because he wasn't familiar with the city, he went out with people. Is that something that you find helps as well? Because I remember you telling me on other films where you've gone to location a few days before or even a week before. Do you find that sort of being familiar with the geography adds to the character?
Definitely. This is not the first time I shot in Lucknow. I shot in Lucknow during Bareli Ki Barfi, Bala, Article 15. And this is my fourth film in Lucknow.
Right.
But having said that, this is the first time I'm playing a guy who is from Lucknow. Because in Bala, I was from Kanpur.
Correct.
In Article 15, I was somebody who's from outside. In Bareli Ki Barfi, we were cheating Bareli in Lucknow. This is the first time I'm playing a Lucknow guy. In Gulabo Sitabo, that too old Lucknow. But I have to be one with the city. To be true to the character, you need to adapt to the milieu and know the city really well. So I spend most of the time visiting local restaurants, meeting people, becoming friends with the driver, a local production guy. The food comes from the local production guy's house. So I do all these things. And it's not just part of the agenda to be that actor, but I enjoy these things. It comes out intrinsically. A lot of people on set will say, "You love every city. What's wrong with you?" Like, Bhumi today, देखो तो हर जगह अच्छी लगती है. Because I don't know. I just find something amazing in every city. Like even if I'm going to Lucknow for the fourth time, but I'll find something unique in that city. In every city, I think.
Right. Amitabh Bachchan, Ayushmann, is 77 years old. He's been working as an actor for 50 years. And we cite him as an example of, passion and drive. I mean, this is a man who enjoys his work and works so hard and so much even at this age. But as a young actor, Ayushmann, who saw him up close, who's just come off a film where you worked with him, I mean, what were your observations of his passion, of his work ethic that you feel is important to emulate? And is that the kind of career you'd like to have? A long career in this manner. I mean, is that what you hope for yourself as well?
I believe कि बच्चन एक ही बार पैदा होता है. Nobody else could become Amitabh Bachchan.
Sure.
In Shubh Mangal Saas also there was a dialogue that
Yes.
Bachchan bante nahi hai, Bachchan to hote hai. So nobody could be like him. At 77, he has that zest and drive that he will also know your lines. Yeah, because I at times could be lazy. Agar theek hai yaar, I know I should know the gist of the actor's lines. It doesn't matter if I know the exact words or not. That's what I do with my lines also. Ki mujhe gist pata hona chahiye, I'll probably say anything.
Right.
But he will know everything.
Yeah, I remember
that's
you
his
telling
way.
me that you used to mark your lines
Yeah.
on the script, and he used to say, "Why are you not marking his lines also?"
Yeah, he got a little upset कि यार हमारी लाइनें important नहीं है क्या जो आप mark नहीं कर रहे हो? And he told me पीकू में दीपिका भी ऐसे करती थी. I go, okay, ये मुझे नहीं पता. So I used to mark my lines with a marker and used to read out. It's like it's important to know other person's lines also.
Yeah.
So during this, I've started also mugging up lines of my co-actor instead of just knowing the gist.
Right.
And if it's coming from Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, the legend, तो मुझे वो follow करना ही है. And he really helps you with the expressions also. I remember pre-climax, he was saying इसको ऐसे बोल सकते हैं. And he invests that time in you. He doesn't need to. At this stature, he could probably just, हाँ ठीक है यार तू जो करना कर ले. ऐसा नहीं है. He will be thinking about a film in totality. Also help you with the lines and how to just improvise in a certain way. So he's brilliant.
You've been away from the sets for a while, Ayushmann. You took this break because you'd been working ridiculously hard. You'd made movies back to back to back, and then of course this Corona happened and lockdown happened, and obviously one hasn't been able to work. I mean, is there a part of you that's itching to go back, or have you been able to enjoy this break without worrying that I don't have another film lined up, or I don't have another film that's ready for release?
Yeah. There's no film ready for release after this one, but I've been reading a lot of interesting stuff. I'm dying to. I call Anubhav Sinha every day.
Correct.
Because we both are such workaholics. We just want to be on the set. And I remember 2 weeks into the lockdown, I just started calling him. What's happening? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I was just itching to go out. Somebody just needs to call me out in the vanity. Okay, the shot is ready. I'll probably cry out of happiness if that happens. If the AD enters the vanity and Ayushmann, the shot is ready.
You're just waiting to hear those words, huh?
I am waiting to hear those words. And the heart will sink. I'll burst out crying, I think. If that happens.
But having said that, Ayushmann, how soon do you feel you will feel safe to go back to work?
That's a difficult one. I think, of course, if you have a family, you think twice before going out. We were just jamming, Anubhav sir and I, that what will we do now? Like the recce has to be, we have to do the recce again. And we have to mark out the green zones, go to certain countries where they are excited to see us, giving us subsidies. Everybody wants to work now. Even they will be welcoming towards the tourists if they want to, So mark the green zone, quarantine yourself, the entire crew, like for 14 days, do your workshops over there, and that start shooting. But I think the dynamics will change. We have to rely more on the local crew, more than taking a lot of people from Bombay. So the entire dynamics will change. The cost will shoot up because we have to probably take a charter with the lead cast and technicians. So we were thinking that what will happen now till the time the vaccine doesn't come. I think we should start shooting. We will probably. The TV serials they've started shooting.
Yeah.
I know people in Bangalore who've started shooting TV shows.
Right.
So I think we are heading towards that direction. We probably start shooting, but not anything like sooner than 3 months, I guess.
Yeah. You also made an interesting point about costs shooting up, and there are these conversations about actors might needing to take pay cuts to make the financials, to make the economics work. Are those conversations, because you're reading scripts, you've begun sort of conversations? Have you heard that, and is that something that one is mentally preparing for?
It really depends. I think if you have decent backdoor, then you can go for it. Why not? Like if you have a certain cut in the profit share, whatever, then that could be there could be different combinations to it.
Right.
But having said that, as of now, I'm just thinking about when are we going to shoot,
Correct.
and nothing else.
Well, I think I can safely say your fans are, looking forward to that as well, because you've given us so much joy in the last few years through the films that you've made. So cannot wait for you to go back to work and make more of those. But in the meantime, we will sort of, watch Gulabo Sitabo and make ourselves happy. Can't wait to watch the film. It drops next Friday on the 12th of June on Amazon Prime Video. Can't wait to watch it. All the best, Ayushmann.
When you just said this next Friday, we have maintained the tradition of releasing the film on Fridays.
That's right.
Still,
that's right.
It really
Some
doesn't
practices
matter.
are staying the same. Yeah.
On OTT, it really doesn't matter. Friday, Monday, Sunday, you never know. But
But do you have butterflies in your stomach in the way that you would, otherwise?
It's different now. I just, I could not be more fortunate that I've been working with Shujit Sarkar again. He's my mentor.
Yeah.
And he's given me this opportunity to work with the megastar Amitabh Bachchan. Juhi Chaturvedi is also there, Ronnie Lahiri, everybody. And it's like coming back home for me with this particular film. I know it would have been great if it was like a theatrical release, but it's just gratitude I want to express towards my mentor, Shujit Sarkar, for giving me this opportunity again. And whenever he offers me a film, I'll do that film. Agar usme passing role ho, kuch ho, I will do that film because I love him.
Right. How lovely. Cannot wait to watch the film. All the best. And, I hope you get to go back to work as soon as it's safe to go back. But until then, stay safe and stay healthy. And of course, stay indoors until you must. Thank you, Ayushmann.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you.